Welcome back to Safe Settings for another inspiring episode. Today's topic is one that resonates deeply with some families or many families, and the topic is understanding and nurturing exceptionalities in children. Okay, so we whether we are talking about learning differences, giftedness, or unique abilities, every child is different. And it is essential for us to embrace these differences with love, faith, and the right support. As parents, we all want the best for our children. But sometimes, when a child's ability does not fit into the typical mold, whether it's a learning difficulty, behavioral challenge, or extraordinary talent, it can feel very overwhelming. How do we as parents recognize and support these exceptionalities? And how can faith and counseling play a role in helping our children thrive both academically and emotionally? In this episode, we are going to explore how you can nurture your child's unique abilities, build their confidence, and provide them with the tools that they need to grow into their full potential. And they will do this while learning and leaning on the teachings of faith and professional guardians for support. So, how do we go about this? The first step is to recognize your child's unique abilities. Okay? And we must know what makes them unique, what makes them who they are. Sometimes this is obvious. Perhaps maybe a child is exceptionally talented in music, or a child has an incredible memory. But in many cases, a child's uniqueness may be related to learning differences or challenges like ADHD, autism, dyslexia. So what do we do? The first thing we do is we have to observe those children. Parenting, they say, requires attention, it requires intentionality. So we need to observe our children. Pay close attention to your child's behavior. Pay close attention to your child's learning style, how they interact with the world around them. Are they struggling in certain academic areas but excelling in others? Could it be some disability in some subjects like dyscalculia? A child might be struggling with mathematics calculations. Do they show creativity or problem-solving skills beyond their age? There is that too. And sometimes you hear people call such children, oh, na grandma, na old woman. Beyond all those things, these are often signs of exceptionalities, whether they fall on the spectrum of giftedness or on the spectrum of learning differences. So we need to observe them. Then it's okay for us to engage professional assessment. If you notice that your child is facing challenges that go beyond what seems typical, it's a good idea to consult with professionals such as the school counselor, educational psychologist, or therapist. These are the people that can provide a formal assessment. They will understand your child's specific needs and provide the right support. So while recognizing these exceptionalities is the first step, what really matters is how you respond to it when you identify what it is or you have an idea of that something might not be going right. And this is where faith and intentional parenting come in. The second thing we want to look at is the power of faith in supporting exceptionalities. For many parents, faith has served as a powerful source of strength when navigating complexities of life, the complexities of raising children with unique abilities. Faith helps us to see beyond the labels, the diagnosis, and societal expectations. And so instead of focusing on the pains or the negatives, faith helps us to focus on the gifts and potentials that every child carries. So the faith-based perspective that will help us to view our children through the lens of faith, to remember that every child is fearfully and wonderfully made. Whether they have a learning difference or an extraordinary gift, they are uniquely crafted with a purpose. So this mindset will allow us to approach their challenges with patience and hope, and the trust in God that He has a plan for their lives, no matter how different their path may seem. We also need to build confidence through faith. One of the biggest struggles children with exceptionalities face is most of the time a lack of self-esteem, especially if they compare themselves to others, or if some people are comparing them to others, especially significant people in their lives: teachers, parents, relatives, family members, minders, carers. So as parents, we can use faith to speak life into our children, reminding them of their inherent worth and God-given talents. Whether we do it through prayers, whether we do it through scriptures, or simply affirming their abilities, And this moment of spiritual encouragement can be a game changer in their lives. It can be a game changer for their self-confidence, because faith gives us the foundation to not only embrace our children's unique abilities, but also to seek the right resources and support to help them flourish in their spheres. Okay? We need to seek counseling and professional support while we are holding on to our faith and believe God's best for these children and that God has a plan for them. God gave wisdom for professional support. God gave wisdom for therapy. God gave the wisdom for assessment. So it's a critical role in understanding and addressing exceptionalities. We can't live in denial and say, I will not open my mouth to call you what God has not called you. I will not speak about it. It is not my mouth that I will use. Nobody is saying you are calling them. God gave the wisdom for us to access this professional support so that we can help these children. Early intervention goes a long way in managing most of this. I think Albert Einstein himself did not even speak until he was 5 years old. Can you imagine the feat that he had in physics, all the inventions? But prior to age 5, do you know what has transpired? Do you know what names parents have called, people have called him, what names his parents have been called, and different counsels and advices here and there? So if God gave him wisdom for all the inventions he did, it is the same God that gave wisdom to invent therapy and in various interventions for exceptionalities. So alongside faith, professional support is a critical role. It plays a critical role in understanding exceptionalities, and it also helps in addressing them. So counseling, therapy, educational support services can help children manage challenges, while also parents develop strategies to support their child's growth. So counseling and therapy now, like for children with learning differences or emotional challenges, counseling can help provide a safe space for them to express their feelings and develop coping strategies. A therapist will know how to work with them to manage any frustrations that they may have and build their emotional resilience. Sometimes these children even just ordinarily having an outlet to say, this is what I'm going through. Everybody thinks I'm this, but this is really what's going on in my mind. Another thing that professionals do is behavioral and cognitive profiling. It's important to understand your child's cognitive and behavioral patterns through professional profiling, because it will now help professionals tailor the learning strategies and the behavioral interventions. Without you stepping out to take these interventions, it will be difficult even for you to know how to manage these situations. So it ensures that your child's unique abilities are nurtured in a way that suits their specific needs. That's why you need to do behavioral profiling and cognitive profiling. Sometimes when you do that, that's when you know your child's learning style. That's why you know how the child thinks. And the teacher now will be able to provide educational support. They can do individualized learning plans. They can do modifications to the curriculum, to the syllabus, to the teaching techniques, and accommodations that allow your children to succeed in school and in life. So this could mean extra time on tests. It could mean different methods of teaching. It could mean advanced learning opportunities for gifted children. But you have to access this professional resources. So the combination of faith-based encouragement and professional guidance helps children feel supported. It helps them feel understood, and it makes them have a sense of capability to achieve their potentials. Having done this, it is important that we create a supportive home environment. In addition to professional help, teachers and parents are always and will always have to be partners in progress. One of the most important factors in nurturing a child's exceptionality is creating a supportive home environment. So they will thrive where they feel safe, loved, and accepted for who they are, not for any other thing. The children, they deserve love, whether they are the first in class or the last, first of all, because that does not define them. It's just a passing phase if we handle it properly. So we need to encourage exploration at home, whether your child is gifted or your child is facing learning challenges. Create an environment that encourages them to explore their interests and talents. Music, if they are musically inclined, provide instruments for them. If they are creative, give them space to express themselves through art or storytelling. Let them do something that brings out the real, unique self that is in them. Celebrate efforts. It's not just result. We cannot always just be frowning at, who came first? Do they have 10 heads? Especially for children with learning differences. Your child is dyslexic and you have not found out, but you are just angry that the child is not doing what he's supposed to do. He cannot read. He's not. Hello. Or the child's handwriting is just so, and you're wondering. We need to celebrate effort when we tell them that this thing is not good. Trust me, they have the intention to make it good. So focus on the effort that they are putting into it rather than the outcomes. And this will boost their confidence. Celebrate small wins. Let them know that their hard work and persistence are what matters the most and how quickly they achieve a certain milestone. This way, they are encouraged to do more. Incorporate faith in your family's daily routine. When it comes to encouraging your child, prayer, devotionals, positive affirmations that are rooted in scriptures, all these things can help the child feel grounded in their faith. And they feel like there is this unconditional love for them and they want to do better. It requires a lot of involvement. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of understanding for us parents, maybe education as well. You have to educate yourself on what challenges your child is having. Okay? You have to do that. So some parents are given to advocacy. Why not if not? Whether it's you have to work with the teachers to ensure they get the accommodations that they need, or you seek out resources for gifted children. In whatever area you need to advocate for your children, please do not hesitate. Be informed. Get educated. Learn as much as you can about your child's exceptionalities. Whether they have learning differences or they have an area where they excel. The more informed you are, the better equipped you will be to advocate for them in school, in therapy, even in extracurricular activities. Howbeit in government policies. And you have to partner with professionals, work closely with teachers, with the therapists, with special educators, and other professionals in the medical system that will ensure that your child's needs are met. You cannot be afraid to ask questions or seek additional support or push for services that will help your child succeed. You can also not be afraid to even acknowledge that there is something that is not right here. Remember, it's about ensuring that your child is not defined by their exceptionalities, but rather your child is empowered by them. We must know that every child is unique. Every child has unique abilities. And for those who have exceptional abilities, whether it's a learning difference or a talent that sets them apart, nurturing their growth requires both faith and support. So by us recognizing their unique gifts, leaning on faith, seeking professional help, and creating a supportive environment, we can actually help the child thrive. As parents, our calling is to guide our children academically, but that is not all. We are also called to nurture their emotional, spiritual, and social well-being. We are the ones that will socialize them into friendship, into work, into love. So when we combine faith and intentional parenting with the right support systems, that is, we speak up, we seek professional support, we accept that there is something that requires our attention, we're helping our children become the best version of themselves. We're helping them move towards achieving God's purpose for their lives. We cannot afford to live in denial. We must recognize that these children have uniqueness in them that we must harness. And as we do so, they grow, they blossom, and we enjoy what we are seeing. We appreciate the transformation that we are seeing because we are cooperating with the resources, with the professionals, with the right support system, and we are being intentional about them. We are going to stop this discussion right now. All right. If you have any questions or you would like to share your experiences with raising an exceptional child, or you actually need to know, or you need information on how your child's behavior is, behavioral profiling, cognitive profiling, whatever it is, feel free to reach out to us on authenticallysave@gmail.com. Do not forget to share this podcast with other parents who might find it helpful. And like it, subscribe, and follow us. Until next time, keep loving, nurturing, and believing in your child's potential. Bye-bye.